Beruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Kuf Nun Aleph Amud Aleph, 3 lines from the bottom at the new Mishnah. The previous Mishnah had mentioned different tzarchei hameis, including the levaya and the kavura of the meis Motzei Shabbos. Our Mishnah discusses the tzarchei hameis and the dinim on Shabbos itself. Says the Mishnah, Oisin kol tzarchei hameis. We may perform all of the needs of a mace. Sochin umeidichin oisoi. We may place oils on the body of the mace as well as clean the mace by rinsing it off. Ubilvashlo yaziz boy aver, providing that we don't move a limb of the mace. The mace is muktzah, and therefore moving a limb of the mace is also then prohibited because it's a tiltul of muktzah. Shoimtin es hakar mitachtov. We may remove a pillow or a mattress from beneath the mace. Umeitilin oisoi alachol bishvil sheyamtin. And allow it to then go onto the ground where it's cooler so that it will remain moist. It shouldn't be heated up by the pillow or the mattress that is beneath it. And again, one cannot certainly move the mace because we said it's tiltul muktzah, thereby only removing that which is underneath the mace, allowing the mace to then be on the ground. The Mishnah continues in Daf Kuf Nun Aleph Amud Beis at the top. Koishrin es halechi. We may tie the jaw of the mace. However, lo sheyale ela shelo yosif, not to then cause the jaw to go upwards, but rather just to prevent it from then becoming more widened. V'chein koiro. Now the Mishnah brings a related halacha not to do with a mace. V'chein koiro shenishbura. If there's a beam that is on the roof, that on the ceiling of a house or a building, shenishbura, that breaks, soimchin oisa besafsel o ba'aruchos hamito. We may soimech the breaking kara by supporting it with either a beam of either a bench or the leg of a bed. These things are considered to be kelim and therefore they're mutter to move, to the taltel. Lo, however, shetal ele shelo toisif. However, also here, one should not cause the beam to go up, meaning to then be in a strong position as it was before, because that would be an issue of building, boina on Shabbos. Rather, should just preventing the beam from breaking down and becoming sagging further. Says the Gemara, V'omar Rav Yehuda Omar Shmuel, asking the following question. That which we stated in our Mishnah, that we can go ahead and rinse and oil the dead body. Here we bring a following Maisa. Maisa betalmido shel Rabbi Meir shenichnas achor the Beis HaMerchatz. There's a Maisa that's told of a student of Rabbi Meir who followed him into the Beis HaMerchatz on Shabbos. Bikesh lahadiach karka. He wanted to rinse the ground for Rabbi Meir. Should be more pleasant for him. Omar loy ein meidichin. Rabbi Meir says not to then rinse it. Losuch karka, you want to oil the ground because then it will smell better from the good smelling oil. Omar lo ein sachin. So he said to him, you cannot do that, presumably because since the ground has stones and it could move the stones which are muktzah, therefore you cannot go ahead and rub oil on the ground. So the Gemara is now asking, how can you go ahead and rub oil on the goof of the mace? Hare, the mace is muktzah. Rabbi Meir explains, karka bekarka mechalfa. Mace bekarka lo mechalaf. He says when it comes to the karka, even though the ground, again, this ground in the bathhouse is made out of stone, there's not a problem of mashve gumos over here, but a person may make the mistake and then be mashve gumos in another karka. So therefore he said it's osir. But to go ahead and oil the body of a mace, then he will not come to make a mistake that he'll then go ahead and mashve gumos by oiling another piece of karka. Ask the Gemara, kol la'asuye mai, that which is stated in our Mishnah, that you can do kol, all of the tzarchei hameis, what does that come to include? Answers the Gemara, la'asuye ho, to include the following, as it states in the Brayso, Tanu Rabbanan. Mevin klei mekar v'klei matochois umenichan al kreiso kedei shelo tafuach. One may bring kelim that are cool like glass or like metal and put it on the stomach of the mace so that the stomach of the mace doesn't become swelled up. Upoikekin es nekavov kedei shelo tikanes bohen haruach. And he can stop up the orifices so that air does not enter, again causing a swelling of the stomach. Even Shlomo Melech said in his own wisdom, to this effect, that the stomach can become swelled and open up. Adasher loy yerosek chevel hakesef. The pasuk says that he should not, the chevel, the rope should not snap. It's talking about a silver rope. What's this a reference to? Zechut hashidra. This is referring to the chut hashidra, the spine, which is also like a chevel, like a rope. Vit seirutz gulas hazov. It will also break like a golden bowl. Ze amma. This is referring to the amma of a person. Why is it referring to the amma, the gid of a person? Because just like gulas is a reference to a gulas mayim, a spring of water, so too the amma is a spring that comes out semen. Hazov is a reference to zov, that it also then oozes out. V'tishaber kad al hamabua. The pasuk goes on to say, and the jug will break at the foundation. Zeha keres. This is referring to the keres. Just like a jug you pour into the jug, so too you pour into the stomach. V'norotz hagalgal el habor. The pasuk goes on to say, and you smashed the galgal of the boar. Ze peresh. This refers to excrement, because just like the galgal is a reference to galal, the soya that is in the boar that's put through the mouth inside the person, so too is the peresh. The Gemara now brings the following pasuk to explain peresh. V'chein hu oimer v'zereisi peresh al pneichem peresh chageichem. Hashem says it will scatter peresh on your faces because of the peresh of chageichem, of the way you celebrated the chagim. Explains the Gemara, Rav Huna v'amri lo amrav chano elu b'nei adam shemenichin divrei Torah v'oisin kol yameim kechagim. These are the people who were menichim. It's a play on the words of peresh. They were poresh from divrei Torah, and instead were self-indulging during the days of the chagim. Omer Rabbi Levi, Omer Rabbi Papi, Omer Rabbi Yehoshua. La'achar shlosha yomim kreso nivkas v'nofeles la'aponov. After 3 days, the stomach opens up, and it causes that which is inside of it, the itzoya, the peresh, to then go on his face. V'armes lo, it says, toil mashe nosata bi, take what you put into me. The Gemara now brings the following Mishnah in regards to a mace on Shabbos. Ein ma'atzmin es ha-mace b'Shabbos. One shall not close the eyes of a mace on Shabbos. Again, because since the mace is muktzah, so too are its avarim, and therefore one cannot close the eyes in aver. That'll be tiltul muktzah. V'loi bechol im yetzias nefesh. Even during the week, one cannot close the eyes when the person is a goyses. Since the time when the person is a goyses, that time is that the person is very weak and also very susceptible to every single movement, that it can cause him to die even before its time. One who closes the eyes of a goyses will then be considered to be a shoifech damim. Says the Gemara, Tana Rabban, ha'ma'atzmoi im yitzias ha'nefesh ha'reiz shoifech damim. One who closes the eyes again of a goyses, then he's considered to be a shoifech damim, because again he brings the base, the misa of that goyses earlier than it was going to be. Mashal, the Gemara brings a mashal l'ner shekova v'hoyleches, of a ner, a lamp that was on its way out. Adam meniach etzbo aleha miyad kofso. A person puts his finger by the lamp, immediately it goes out. So too again with the goyses, since the goyses is very sensitive Any movement, even the movement of its eyelids, can cause it to die prematurely. Tanya, the Gemara brings the following brayso. A person does want to close the eyes of a mace. We're talking about during the week. He should blow wine in his nostrils. He should put oil between his eyelashes. And he should hold the big toes of the feet and put pressure. And then the eyes will close on their own. Tanya, the Gemara brings the following brayso in regards to a mace. Tinoik ben yomi chai, a child who's just 1 day old, who is alive, one can go ahead and mechal the Shabbos if necessary, for whatever is necessary for the life of that 1 day old child. David HaMelech Yisrael mace, if David HaMelech died, ein mechalin alav Shabbos, one cannot mechal the Shabbos. In fact, the Gemara had said earlier in our Masechta that when David HaMelech died on Shabbos, his son Shlomo HaMelech asked the Sanhedrin if he can move his father. He also asked, can we give meat to kalovim, to dogs? To which the Sanhedrin responded and said, you cannot move your father, although he's in the sun. You can't move him outright because of muktzah. But you could go ahead and feed the dogs. To which Shlomo HaMelech said in the Pasuk, in Koheles, that better is the kelev, the living dog, the kelev chai, is tov min ha'aryeh hameis, referring to his father who was an aryeh. So here we see that even a 1-year-old child, you can go ahead and mechal Shabbos for, but your father, even though David HaMelech was the father of Shlomo HaMelech, he could not be moved, because you can't mechal the Shabbos for a mace. Tinoik ben yoimoy chai mechal Shabbos. He goes on to say, a tinok shel ben yomo, you can go ahead and mechal Shabbos. Why? Explains the Gemara. Omer Torah chalil alav Shabbos achas kedei sheyishmor Shabbos harbe. To mechal one Shabbos, so you can go ahead and be shomer many Shabbosos. David HaMelech Yisrael meis ein mechal al Shabbos kivan shemeis adam bato min mitzvahs, because one who is dead cannot then do any other mitzvahs. V'hainu the Omer Rabbi Yochanan b'meisim chavshi. That's what Rabbi Yochanan said in the pasuk. He says b'meisim chavshi kivan shemeis adam naseh chavshi min mitzvahs. When a person is dead, he's no longer then free to do mitzvahs, and therefore they're not to be mechal Shabbos for the mace. And even though we're talking about a 1-year-old who is going to then be able to do more mitzvahs, a person can mechal Shabbos for him because he can go ahead and be shomer many, many more Shabbosos. V'tanya, it says in here in the Brayso, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Omer, Tinoik ben Yoimoy Chai ein tzarich l'shom mina chulda mina chaborim. It says that a child who's even 1 year old, one doesn't have to protect him from rodents. Aval oig melech haboshan meis tzarich l'shom min hachulda min chaborim. But the great giant of oig melech haboshan, who's dead, then you do have to protect him from little rodents. Shenema says in the pasuk, "Morachem v'chitchem yeh." The fear and the fright will be upon the animals of a person. When a person is alive, his fright will be upon the animals. Kozman she'adam chai, a masa mutelas al brios. Here the Gemara makes a drasha when it says "Morachem," your fear v'chitchem and trembling. Chitchem over here means chiyuschem. Your life will then cause ema on the animals. Kivan shemeis, once the person dies, however, batla emosoi, then his fear will then be nullified. Rav Papa says the following: Niktinon aryeh abei trei lo nafil. We have a Masara that an aryeh does not fall. He doesn't go ahead and pursue the two people that are together. Ask the Gemara, we do find that an aryeh does indeed pursue and fall on on two people. No, says the Gemara, Ahu kid Rabbi Bar Abba. The Omer Rabbi Bar Abba ein chaya sholetes ba'adam asher nidmalo ki behema. A person is not going to be susceptible by an animal until he appears to be like an animal. But as long as he's going to then be nidma ki adam, he will not be pursued by an animal. Shenamar, it says adam biker bal yalin. The glory of a man, bal yalin, nimshal ki behemos nidbu. Here is a play on the word. Nimshal means that he's compared, but it also means that he's going to be controlled, he's going to be ruled. Like the behemos, he is nidmu, he is appearing. Doesn't mean that the animal sees him as a animal as opposed to a person. It means that he doesn't have this chuyos of an adam because of his sins, and therefore an animal will then pursue him, he won't be afraid of him. Omer Chanina, also lishon b'bayis yachidi, a person shall not sleep by himself, in a room, in a house. Here, lilis. It says over here that a person who does yoshein bebayis yechidi, so there's a type of shade called lilis, who will then take power over him. Betanya, it states in the following brayso of Shimon Elazar Omer, Asay ad she'ata moitze, do, meaning give tzedakah while you still can, while you still have the money. Umatzui lecha v'oitcha biyotcha, and that which is matzui to you, mean to say that you have the money and you have the ability while you're still alive and you're not dead. V'oitcha biyotcha, while it's in your hands. Shlomo also said in his wisdom, remember in your youth the days while remember your creator in the days of your youth. Ad asher lo yavo yimei hara, until the days of Ra come. What's that days of Ra referring to? It says the Gemara, Eilu yimei hazikna. These are the days when a person is elderly. The shanim asher toimar ein li bohem chayfetz. The days will come and say, I don't have any desire. Eilu yimei hamashiach. These are the days of Mashiach where he doesn't have zechus or choiva. Mean to say that he won't then be able to then give tzedakah because the people will be ashirim, they'll be wealthy, there won't be a need for him to give tzedakah. There also won't be a choiva if he doesn't give tzedakah because they are ashirim, they're no anim. Says the Gemara, Pliga de Shmuel, this argues on Shmuel the way he understands the Yemos HaMashiach. The Omar Shmuel, Ein bein ha'olam hazeh limos HaMashiach, ela shibud malchias bilvad. There's no difference between these days during Olam Hazeh and the days of Mashiach, except for Shibud Malchios. Shneimar says in the pasuk, Ki lo yechdal evyoin mikervarts. He brings the pasuk to say that there will not be any poor person will not desist from being there, even the Yemos HaMashiach, mean to say that the life of this world and life of the Yemos HaMashiach will be similar. There'll be poor people in this world as well as there'll be poor people in Yemos HaMashiach. Tanya, Rabbi Eliezer HaKapor Omer Lo Olam Yevakesh Odim Rachamim Al Midazu. A person should always ask Hakadosh Baruch Hu for rachamim in regards to poverty. She'im Hu Loi Ba Benoi, because if he does not have poverty himself, then poverty will be visited upon his child. V'im Benoi Loi Ba Ben Benoi Ba, and if his own son doesn't have poverty, then poverty will be visited upon his grandson. Shneimar says, Ki beglal hadover hazeh. I'll read the entire pasuk. Because of this matter, the pasuk says, Nason titein loi, you shall give to the destitute one, referring to tzedakah, v'lo yeira levavcha besitcho loi, and you shall not have an evil heart when you give to him. Ki beglal hadover hazeh, because of this matter, yivarach Hashem Elokecha, Hashem will bless you, b'chol ma'asecha v'chol mishlach yodecha, in all of your doings, and all of that which is sent in your hand. Says the Gemara, Shneimar, why is it that a person should always mevakesh rachamim in this midah of poverty? Ki beglal hadavar hazeh, because of this matter, explains the Gemara, V'tan de Rabbi Shmuel, galgal, beglal is a play on the word beglal, galgal, a wheel, hu shechoyzeh ba'olam, that then turns in this world. And therefore, saying that if a person is not poor, then his son can be poor. If his son is not going to be poor, then his grandson will be poor. And therefore, a person should always then ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu rachamim, that he should not have poverty, not he and not his descendants. Omer Rav Yosef Nektinon, we have a Mesara Hai Tzurim Rabban Lame'ani, that the Talmud Chacham does not become an ani. Ask the Gemara, V'hoka Chazina de Me'ani, we do find Talmud Chacham being poor. Im Isa de Me'ani, if indeed a Talmud Chacham becomes poor, Ahadure Apischel Mehader, but he doesn't go from door to door. And therefore he has people to then, he can go ahead and be supported from. He will not have to then lower himself by begging from door to door. Omar lo Rab Chia leDevisu, Rab Chia said to his wife along these lines, Ki osa anyo akdimi le rifta. When a poor person comes to the door, then give him bread right away. Ki heichid lekadmu v'vanecha, so that people then also provide bread to your own children. Omar le, she said to him, Milat kalaiti luhu. You're cursing the children. Omar lo, he said to her, Krokachsiv. It's not me, it's the posuk openly. As we learned before, Ki beglal hadover hazeh, because of this matter. The Gemara makes the drush, V'ton Rabbi Shmuel, Gal hu shechoyze ba'olam. Says the Gemara, Vayter Tanya Rabbi Gamliel Rabbi Omer, V'nosim lecha rachamim v'richamcho v'hirbecho. And Hashem, He will provide you rachamim, mercy, and He'll become and be merciful to you. V'hirbecha, and He will increase you. Kol harachim al habriyos merachamim alov min hashamayim. All those who are merciful to others, HaKadosh Baruch will be merciful to him. And the opposite, v'kol she'eino merachim al habriyos, ein merachim alov min hashamayim.